Everybody sit down. My 2 hours just started counting. 11:11, 12:11, 1:11. Amen. I told a group of pastors who came to see me, you were asking me too many questions. It bordered on success. And I told them I'm an eyewitness for 2 reasons. Number 1, God is the one building his church. Number 2, he has given the Go Church, he has put the Go Church in capable hands. I was talking to someone the same yesterday. We're talking because I have a lot of people call people that have been mentored or counseled. And I told the person that if I die today, one of the things I will never be concerned about is what will happen to the church in my absence. And that's because God has given us the best hands to pastor his church. Amazingly, nobody is in the right place to talk about my pastors better than me. Yes, sir. So I'm going to take today to talk about. You might have your perspective. It might be right. It might be wrong. But it was Elijah who knew why he touched Elisha. So I know I'm the one who knows why I touch every one of them. Some of them don't even know why I touched them. They don't know why they've come to this point. They're just moving. You won't get all the details, but I want to bring us to speed and create the required balance on our minds so that you will not miss the blessing that these men and women carry. That's my concern. I'm not going to apologize. Today I'm not in the place where I want to. I don't want to be diplomatic. Very important. I told firstly, as we left for first service, I said, I don't want to be diplomatic. My name is not diplomatic. I am not checkered diploma. I am not diplomatic. I train my pastors in such a way that you only see what you are supposed to see, not all that they are. So when people talk about them, I'll just be laughing. There's no pastor in the Good Church who is not equipped in the ministry of prayer. They are dangerous people in the place of prayer. That's a part of them you don't know. Pastor Ife has a day dedicated on her own that she fasts for her children. So that you're seeing she carrying children and they're quiet is not physical presence. It's the presence of Elohim she carries from the place of covenant prayer. Every week, she's on fasting. Even me, the overseeing pastor, I don't fast every week for children. It's a ministry. She has grace for it. But if he does not care what is happening to any other person now, even if all of us are dying, as long as our children are alive, that's the first thing to her. If you can take Pacific now that an adult, sometimes the person, like every normal person, she will respond to it. But if she hear any of her children, I don't know about you, but for my own children, I've said this severally for years. If you go into an election, I'm sure most of our children will follow Pacific. If they know 100 things about God, 98 is from her, directly or indirectly. Before anybody came to work with her in children's department, it was only her. When we enter, we used to have more children than here. Only her will man them. To the point the children started praying that she should not marry. And they were telling her, but if you want to marry and leave us, you will not marry her. When I heard it, I said, no, this one will not work. I made it my prayer to pray for her to marry. The children don't want her to marry. They feel if she marries, somebody will take, the husband will take her away from them. That's how much she has touched their lives. But I can tell you, that woman governs that department on her knees. It breaks my heart when people describe my pastors without starting from talking about their prayer life. Before I preach, I want to show you their prayer life. I've never made anybody a pastor who is not a prayerful person. That's the first thing I look at for. You can be with me and not see me pray. Apart from this online meeting, I come out to pray, you will see me online. I can be with you, you know what I'm praying. So anybody I train, they will be so dangerous in the place of prayer. You won't catch. The first thing we learned in principle is that prayer is not a showmanship. He said, when you pray, enter your closet, close the door. The second thing we learned is how to be in the state of prayer. You don't need to open your mouth. You are holding a meeting. People are talking, you're laughing, but you're praying. So you can never really know when my pastors are praying. Because many of you don't know. And you might just miss God for not knowing. Pastor B is from an era that I punished. There were about 14 of them. I was constantly taking them to the mountain to camp. I would take them into a house and lock them up. We'll go to Bobola, I will lock them up. You won't see the sun. No food, no water. 3 days dry fast. 7 days dry fast. What they didn't attempt to do was my 14 days dry fast. I didn't take it for 14 days. Just 7 days, 3 days. Constant. Every week on 3 days dry fast. For years. And I told, there were 14 of them. One day I came. And I said to them, a great prophet is not the one God tells all that he will do. A great prophet is the one God tells why he's doing what he's doing. It's a different level. There's a prophet that knows yesterday. There's a prophet that knows today. There's a prophet that knows tomorrow. Some people know only one. Some people know two. Some people are given the privilege to know the insight, and the foresight. But there is a higher place where a prophet knows. God is telling you what he's doing and why. It's a dimension in God. So he was here. I came that day, I looked at them. I said, all 14 of you, only one will be left. As I will mention his name, but time will reveal him. Pastor Obi was the least of the anointed men at that time. He was the least of them. I have sons I trained, young boys. If they catch you in prophecy, you will disappear. You cannot enter my room and touch my clothes. They handle my clothes as a secret thing. There's one handling that. I looked at them with all the anointing and charisma and said, only one person. The day God showed me, my heart was broken. Because God does not see like a man. This psychedelic man standing here is a dogged man when it comes to prayer and spiritual things. But we've grown. So he came from that dimension where they go to mountain. By the time I was raising the pastors I have now, God told me something. He said, one day snake will bite you on the mountain. God told me. He said, and it is not me you're looking for in the mountain. God told me poverty is taking me to the mountain. I said, what are you talking about? He said, go to the last floor of Hilton and lodge there. If it's height and wait on me, you will see me better. Environment affects vision. So these ones here, when I was training them, I used to take them to a hotel. We take the hall for our meetings. Everybody would check into the hotel there. So the way God revealed himself to them is different. So Pastor Obi is coming from the ancient days. So me and him, that's why sometimes when I want to dance, it's him I used to call her, because those days that I used to dance that dance, it's me and them. But sometimes people did not get to meet me when we are clapping hands and dancing. So after many years, he has survived. There's one person that I will not skip this morning. And then it will be unhealthy to skip him. Even if every other person, for purpose of administration, will not mention him. I owe myself to mention him. My son, Reverend Eze. Mama derege chineke. Mama derege. Onyama ekele derege. He learned that song from me. That's the way I used to. Pastor Eze cannot talk or preach or minister without this song. How many of you know? It's coming from the place of prayer. In those days when I'm singing, I used to cry a lot. I'm not as emotional as I used to be. Church showed me Pepe. In those days when I greet people on the road, I'm crying because it's either I'm seeing people going to hell. I'm not joking. I lived in Gwagwa here. If I enter a bus from here to Life Camp, I'm giving prophecy to everyone in the bus. It was a well-known thing in the neighborhood. He knows. Once I enter public transport, I will embarrass myself. You see me telling somebody, ma, I saw that your husband threatened to divorce you. She would turn to me, who told you that? I said, God just told me. Before I come down from every vehicle I entered, I would have turned the place into a church. I never asked people to take my number. People beg to take number. If I'm traveling with a luxurious bus, we convert into a church. It's not a hidden testimony. He's a man given to prayer. He's one of those who drank from my altar. When we were in one room, and our mattress was on the floor, when it wasn't comfortable to sleep at night. I saw John. I went to the camp residence back there. I saw John. He ran out and came to me. John was his cousin. They would come and sit down. Sometimes that room would be so packed as if it's fishes. They squeezed herself. She'll become as small as they squeezed herself. She'll become as small as my fist. I'm not exaggerating. She will squeeze herself in the place of prayer. You can touch the air you breathe when she prays. I'm not exaggerating. But you don't catch them outside. When you see them outside, come out and they are touched and polished in. Speaking all this, they are funny. Don't be deceived. Let me even leave the pastors and talk about a few personal ones. Have you listened